Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and a quick update over at the situation in the Klishchiivka. And this is south of Bakhmut city in the Bakhmut front. And the biggest news among all the different sources is the Russians have launched a major counterattack around Klishchiivka. And in fact, they managed to seem to push the Ukrainian forces pretty much out. And however, this was not entirely acknowledged. Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source, still talks about that they are still sweeping the town. However, it was contradicted by Myroshnikov, another pro-Ukrainian source, saying that there is no mopping at all. There's a complete mopping up operation has not even been carried out yet. So the situation is very unclear, tentatively speaking. So given how depends it given really how much you trust the pro-Russian sources, the current line looks a bit like this. With previously the line was something here. The Russian forces allegedly made a massive counterattack that pushed the Ukrainian forces out back into the western part of Klishchiivka. And then, however, this, like I said, this entirely not acknowledged by Deep State UA. So it's very hard to tell, what is the truth, given that it is not entirely, mentioned. And if you look at the terrain, the Ukrainian forces probably moved to this area here, and they have positions around the northern, on this hilltop. So not northern, this hilltop region. It will still be a very strong defense lines for the Ukrainians and a good point to actually re-attack back into the town. And however, of course I do have my doubts whether the Ukrainian forces would give up this much territory to the Russians in a single day. This much land in a single day, it sounds a bit crazy. So this brings me back to Myroshnikov's statement, which is very, very interesting. He said that they have not fully controlled Klishchiivka, the Ukrainian forces, and the Russians are still in the northern part, and the mopping operations have not even started. There's no new position that was controlled. It's not strengthened. The main force has not entered. So this basically is criticizing Deep State UA for saying that there is some kind of a clearing up operation. Russian Defense Ministry also mentioned about they are still defending against Ukrainian attacks close to Klishchiivka, and Ryba also mentioned a bit more detail that the Russians now holding the northeastern outskirts while the Ukrainian forces concentrating their force to the west for a new attack. Most of the village is currently a gray zone because the Ukrainians keep shelling the settlement. So it could be all true. That the Ukrainian forces is holding the positions in the hilly area. They continue to land fire on Russian forces. They might be attacking, but maybe in small squads, raiding parties, and to force the Russians out. The Russians are usually they usually will be forced out, or they will retreat from massive artillery strikes because they like to preserve their forces rather than hold a position that they cannot hold. That tends to be the case unless the position is really vital. Klishchiivka is one of those positions that the Russians did hold for a very long time, and yeah, this is very, very vague whether the Ukrainians actually making a real push or are they not. Geolocations have shown that the Ukrainian forces did go all the way to at least this area here, So the entire part, this part is pretty much gray zones with Ukrainian forces attacking Russian forces holding. Yeah, it is the kind of situation right now in Klishchiivka. So anyway, this is the quick update. And further south, just in case you want to know, there is rumors of Russian forces maybe re-entered Andriivka after redrawing. So there was some rumors about the Andriivka getting recaptured by Russian forces, but there was contradicting information due to the line of control along the railway track. So as a result, the Rybar actually cannot commit into what is actually happening, because the Ukrainians are actually making advances over this area here. There is geolocation of Ukrainian forces in this position, and they are continuing to try to expand this this entire buffer zone around this railway track. And the Russian forces to retake Andreevka would look a little out of place, which is probably what the Rybar is talking about. However, there is maybe some kind of possibility that Russians retook Andreevka. The reason is because the Russian Defense Ministry actually reported that they defended at Andreevka. I think I saw another piece of information talking about western part of Andreevka. But anyway, yeah, so that was probably old information. But anyway, this is just how it is. The Ukrainian forces are still being reported to be attacking Andreevka, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Rumors of Russian taking Andreevka. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So this is what it is. Yeah, fog of war, and it does look very positive for the Russians if this is true. If they are able to retake this much grounds, but of course holding the village is a problem if they cannot have the high ground. So yeah, this high ground is very important. If they cannot hold, then they will have to redraw again someday again. So anyway, thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next update.